Hi everyone, it's the second Saturday in August, which means it's time for a new mid-month mini mission inspiration. So for August, we did what we have done for all of the mid-month minis this year, is use the fabulous randomizer machine that was built for us by Ian, and it chose, when we set it off, the letter K for the month of August. So I'll put the card on the screen now, which has the 5 words for inspiration, all starting with the letter K. If you don't like any of the words that are here, then you can choose a word of your own, begin with the letter K. So the 5 words for August are kite, knowledge, kangaroo, kaleidoscope, and keyhole. So when I saw these 4 words, I thought immediately, ooh, kaleidoscope, there's a really good one. So a kaleidoscope can be a really kind of colourful image. It's almost reminiscent of a kind of mandala, one of those meditation things where it's a repeating pattern in a kind of circular shape, whereas the kaleidoscope itself is actually a device that has mirrors inside it that when you twist it, you have this repeating and mirrored fractal image almost repeating all the way around. And I thought that might be quite fun to try and recreate a kind of kaleidoscope effect, but instead of using colours and shapes, actually using a photograph. So what I did is I created my tag using some mixed media cardstock. This is just from my Daler Rowney pad. So it's this one. This is a European A4 one, so it's £169, 250 GSM. Takes all kinds of mediums really, really well, does this mixed media cardstock. It's thick enough to work on its own without having to back it or anything. So what I did is I created my tag. So they're 4 inches by 8 inches, and then I just used the front protector of my tag journal to create the tops of the tags here. So I just used that as a template just to cut those off. And then what I did is I put it onto my scoreboard. I can hear Mr. Bentley yipping in the background. Shush! Monkey! Can't be vying to go back to bed. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Anyway, so what I did is I put it onto my Stampin' Up scoreboard, and I scored down the middle, scored down halfway, and then twisted it onto its side and then scored it both ways that way. You probably can't see it very well on the screen there, the score lines, maybe just about there. But they're only there as a guide only. So I've divided my tag up into 8 separate sections. So what I then did is I went onto my computer and I found a photograph of a face. So rather than actually choosing the face of some famous person, I actually found a photograph that was created by Samsung, which is kind of an amalgam of like 100 different men's faces. And it's kind of like the homogenized kind of version of what somebody apparently finds attractive. So this is the face. Anyway, I'll put it on the screen now so you can see. So that's Mr. Everyman, or every lady, I suppose, if we're talking about attraction. So it's everybody and it's nobody. So what I did is I used that image and I created some triangles the same as the sections on my tag, and then did it so that when they're put together they will reflect and mirror all the way around. I suppose the only way really to show you what I'm talking about is to actually go ahead and get started and do it. So what I'll do is I will just grab my ruler. I've got a knife here, and I'll just cut all the bits out. So I should have lined them all up. Not as prepared as I should be probably, but hey ho. We don't want a 2-minute video, do we? Because that's probably how long it would take if I had already gone and done everything. I'll tell you what I will do is I will go ahead and put some music on and speed through this so you're not actually sitting and watching me laboriously cut stuff out. Okay, so that's all of, just shut that door properly, that's all of my 8 pieces cut out. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring in my tag, and that was a bit weird, wasn't it? In fact, when I cut them out, it actually created the letter K out of the waste. Spooky goings on these days. Where's my tag gone? There we are. So there's the tag. So what I can do now is I can start to layer these things on. Now, when I did the tag, when I created those lines in it, I forgot that I was going to be taking that section out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drop it down a little bit, because otherwise, if I line these pieces up here, you see that we're going to lose a portion of his eye. So it's going to be cut off about there. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit when I stick these together, so that it's a bit more centered, if you understand what I mean. So we're just going to use some dry glue today. I'm not going to use any wet glue. So I will need my little mat, so we'll just bring that back. Again, it's another warm day today, so I've got all the windows open, so the door's rattling a little bit. I've got a glass of water instead of coffee today. That's better. Right. I know I'm suffering from coffee withdrawal, probably. All right. So first piece really wants to go in. No, it doesn't. That's not the right piece, is it? That should go in about there. I've got to put the hole in, so I'm not really bothered about it going too bad there. So the next piece wants to go about there. So I think that's probably going to be about right. And that next piece will then go there. You see how it's now starting to mirror the image. So the nose is kind of mirrored. And we'll build it up that way. So we'll start off. I'll put a little mark just so I know where I'm going. That's the middle point there. So if I do it about that far down, like that, so if I follow that as the guide, we can't go wrong, can we? He says. We can't go wrong. Famous last words. Alright, so that one's going to get stuck on there. I suppose if you're doing collage in a kind of kaleidoscope, then you can kind of call this a Kaleidoscope. I know, I just made that up. It's not a real word. Right, so there's our first piece. So the second piece will now fit into that section there. Like so. So all you have to do, it's like doing a jigsaw puzzle. You just have to make sure that when you try and locate your pieces, they're the mirror image of the one that you're putting down. So, you see what I mean? That's the mirror image of that one. Okay, so the next one then needs to be the mirror image of that one. So that would go about there. So the mouths are mirrored. and the ears at the top. I need to put something in that door to stop it from rattling. There's a little bit of a draft blowing through because, like I said, we've got the windows open. Okay, line that up. Of course, you don't have to go and find all these kind of weird and wonderful images and just use the one like I've done. You could try and match this up with 2 or 3 different images if you wanted to. Just kind of created your own kaleidoscopic collage with different images. Try and match up the colours or patterns. Right. Bit of a gap there, but that's okay. I can work with that. So there's half done. Now can you see how you've got that kind of mirror image on each section? I know, it's weird. So then this piece will go in there like so, because that's the exact mirror image of that one. Perhaps it'd be easy if I actually add the glue to the cardstock. I don't know, maybe so. Let's have a look, let's try it. Okay, so the next, yep, I think so, which is the exact mirror image of that and the exact mirror image of that. So add the glue there. Kaleidoscope. I just invented a new word. Actually, I want us lifting up a little bit, doesn't it? Just a tad. There we go. Again, it all really depends on how well you've cut it out as to how accurate you get. It does start to look a bit freaky. But that's half the fun, seeing what kind of shapes you get. So if I've done my job right, I'll bring in the one that I composited up on the computer. Yeah, that looks about right, doesn't it? Yep. That'll do nicely. So we've got all the pieces stuck together. So what I'll need to do is just to trim off the excess. So I'll grab a little cutting mat. And then just turn that over. And then trim off the excess. Like so, and I'm going to do the same at the bottom. Just get rid of that little bit of extra. And then we are a little bit out at that side there, but that's okay. I won't tell anybody if you won't. Right, okay. So we've got our bit of a freaky image. Let's just clear that out of the way. So we'll get rid of that mat. Let's grab some distressing. Let's have a little vintage photo, I think. And a blending tool. That looks like my brown one. and then we'll just go around the edge. Oh, that looks a bit juicy. I must have reinvigorated it and forgotten. It's been a while. There we go. It's reacting a little bit with that glue. There we go. You can barely tell that there's anything wrong at the top up there. So we've got a really cute, well, I say cute, weird kind of kaleidoscopic image there. But I don't just want to stop there with it. I want to add a little bit more to it. So if you remember, there was another word on that list, keyhole, that I also wanted to incorporate with my art tag for this month. So I have got a keyhole which I'm going to put into the middle, just there. So I need to get some brads, some little brads. Just bear with me a sec. Talk about not being prepared. Just go into my stash off camera. There we go. My little tin. It's an old tobacco tin. And it's full of brads. Okay, so I need my pokey tool. And I'm just going to line that up. Oh, God blimey, having one of them days. Where's my pricking mat as well? Where's my pricking mat? There we go. Look, I've broken the end off my pokey tool. I'll have to use this brute of a piece of kit instead. Right, there we were. We were lining that bit up there, weren't we? Pop a hole through there. Pop a hole through there. And then let's find a couple of brads. We only want some ickle ones. We don't want anything too massive. That one. I really need to get some more of these. Starting to be my favourite sizes. I'm starting to run out. Do you know what? Let's just use a couple of biggies. What the heck? Put that one back. Right. It just means I have to make the holes a little bit bigger. But that's okay. I can live with that. And then we'll just push these through. Of course, will they fit? Like so. And then push that one through. And then, just to make it completely freaky, for no other reason than I can, I've got my archival link up here somewhere. Okay. I want a blending stick or something. That'll do. Just load up some of that archival link, and then I've got one of those really freaky Tim Holtz eyes. So I'm just going to dull that down a little bit just to get rid of a little bit of that stark white. Now I'm using the archival because this obviously is not water based. So the water based one will just rub straight off. Whereas you can build up a nice little bit of kind of grunge using either your ink based or solvent based inks, or even alcohol ink would work rather nicely. So I'm just going to go grab my glue gun and then I'll be back. Okay, so as my glue gun is warming up, I thought I would just prepare and create my whole section at the top. So what I want to do is just grab my front cover as a guide, and I'm going to just flip that over and then just add a little hole, well, add a little mark there so I know exactly where to punch. And then what I've got is some kind of craft coloured card. And I'm just going to punch 2 holes, just like that. And then I'm going to take a bigger circle punch and I'm going to punch around those holes, and that's going to create me my 2 little hole reinforcers. Can you see those? There you go, probably see them better now. That'll be my hole reinforcers for my tag at the top, and then just use my hole punch there. There we go. Thought it'd broken then. And then all I have to do is just stick that over the hole. There we go. But of course I can add a little bit of grunge to it first. For no other reason, then why not? So no paint, no anything on this month's tag. Last month I think I did die cuts, birdie die cuts for the letter A. I'm not even going to cover the back on this one. And you're probably thinking, what are you going to do with those 2 pieces of brad, or the brad backs? We're going to be seeing those. Well, you're not going to see those because I've got a way to cover those up in a second. But yeah, just try and vary. I try and vary the different types of project that I do. It's not always like collage and that kind of thing, but you know, you've got to try and make it interesting for yourself, keep it fresh for yourself as well as everybody else. There we go. Alright, I think we're ready for, now then, should I colour that in? I think so. Let's just go in with a black pen. Just kind of create that dark keyhole. Like I said, you're not going to see most of it anyway, but it's just little touches. Not being a very tidy crafter today. Okay, so we need some glue. Can't believe it, the iris has just dropped out. Oh, great stuff. But that's okay. Right, all I need to do is just to stick that back in. I was going to say with some glossy accents, but it looks like Ian's borrowed mine and not brought it back. So we'll just put a little bit of hot glue in there. And we can just drop the iris back in. Suitably freaky. Definite weird project this month. Okay, so just to finish off then, as I have done with previous months, I've put the token, the letter of each month that we've chosen on the back. So I shall do the same thing now over the top of those brads. And then that way you won't see them. Ways to hide nearly everything. And then I may just go around the edges. I may even just grab a quick stencil just to add a little bit of texture to the back. But like I said, you can use whatever image you want to, if you want to use, or go for the word kaleidoscope as well. Or just create your sections of your tag and doodle and zentangle within them. But make sure you try and mirror to get that kind of kaleidoscope effect. But I think that's a bit freaky. Kaleidoscope and keyhole. So 2 out of the 5. And that is my mid-month mini mission tag project for the month of August. Suitably freaky and a little bit weird, but I'm just in that kind of mood today. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I'll be back in a couple of days. Bye for now. It's even weird by my standards, that one. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.